The sound of metal crushing concrete echoed through the narrow streets. Dust rose into the sky like a storm. Children screamed. Women begged. Old men stood frozen, their eyes filled with helpless rage. And in the middle of it all, Jackson stood still. Black suit, cold eyes, expression unreadable. A bulldozer moved forward. Crash. A small house collapsed like it never existed. Please, sir, please, a woman cried, clutching her child. We have nowhere to go. Jackson didn't even look at her. Instead, he adjusted his cufflinks. Move them out, he said calmly. His voice wasn't loud, but it was enough to silence everything. One of his guards stepped forward, grabbing the woman roughly. The child started crying harder. Sir, please, we'll leave, just give us time. Jackson finally turned his head. Slowly, his gaze landed on the child. For a second, there was nothing. No emotion. No hesitation. Time, he repeated softly, is something you should have thought about before living on land that belongs to me. The woman dropped to her knees. Sir, please, not my problem. Crash. Another home fell. A group of kids ran out, coughing from dust, holding onto each other. Jackson watched them like they were nothing more than shadows. Behind him, a voice spoke carefully. Sir, this is getting out of control. It was Sugar, his assistant, standing beside him with a tablet in hand. This is going too far. These people, there are families, children. The media is all ready. Start full demolition, Jackson ordered. Suga stepped closer, lowering his voice. Sir, this will cost you votes. Jackson's lips curved slightly. Then we'll take them. Forcefully, Jackson turned to him, a dangerous gleam in his eyes. Fear is stronger than loyalty. They'll forget in a week. They won't, Suga replied quietly. Elections are coming. You're already losing support. Jackson smirked slightly. Support can be bought. The machines roared louder. Homes fell faster. And in the middle of the destruction, Jackson stood untouched. Untouched by screams. Untouched by pain. Untouched by humanity. Behind them, a giant board was being raised. It read, Coming soon, Lux Night Bar owned by Jackson Group. Miles away. In a small, cramped apartment, laughter filled the air. You burnt it again. I did not. Jungkook, it's literally black. It's crispy. That's not crispy, that's dead. Jungkook burst into laughter as Jimin waved a burnt piece of toast in his face. Eat it yourself then. No, you eat it. They both collapsed onto the couch, laughing like nothing in the world could touch them. For a moment, everything felt simple, safe, real. Jungkook leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Jimin. I need a job. Jimin turned his head, studying him. Again? One day Jimin said dramatically, You'll frame all these rejection letters as proof of your struggle. Jungkook chuckled softly. At this rate, I'll open a museum. So, what did they say this time? Jungkook unfolded the paper. We regret to inform you. Ah, Jimin nodded. Classic heartbreak letter. Jungkook leaned back. I just need one chance. Jimin watched him for a moment. You'll get it, Jungkook smiled faintly. You always say that. Because it's true. What if I fail? Jimin didn't hesitate. Then you fail. Jungkook blinked. That's it? And then you try again. Silence. Comfortable. Real. Then Jimin nudged him. You're different, you know. How? Jimin looked at him carefully. Most people are scared of the world. A small smile. But you want to fight it. Jungkook didn't know it yet. But somewhere in another country, someone who looked exactly like him was already destroying lives. Days later, Jungkook stared at his phone, heart racing. Jimin. What? I got an email. And it's from London. Silence. What? Jimin grabbed the phone, eyes scanning quickly. His expression changed. Shock, then pride, then something softer. You got the job. Jungkook's hands trembled. I did. Jimin smiled. You did, but then. The smile faded slightly. London is far. Jungkook nodded slowly. It's a job offer, a good one, good salary, accommodation, everything. Jimin forced a smile. That's amazing. But Jungkook didn't smile back. I don't want to go. Jimin blinked. What? Jungkook looked at him, eyes heavy. I just got you back. I mean this life, this city, everything. His voice cracked slightly. And now I have to leave? Jimin looked away for a moment, taking a deep breath. Then he stepped closer. Jungkook, look at me. Jungkook hesitated, then did. Jimin smiled softly. You've been waiting for this your whole life. But... No, Jimin shook his head gently. Listen. He placed a hand on Jungkook's shoulder. You don't stop your future because of me. Jungkook's eyes filled. It's not just you. Jimin chuckled lightly. It is. Silence. Then Jimin spoke again softer this time. I'd rather miss you than watch you regret staying. That broke something inside Jungkook. What if things change? Jimin smiled. They will. What if you forget me? Jimin laughed quietly. Impossible. Then his expression softened deeply. I'll wait, and you will call me daily. Oh, come on. Stop being dramatic. It's 2026. I can also come London once you settled. Then Jungkook stepped forward and hugged him tightly, like he was afraid to let go. Jimin closed his eyes, holding him just as tight. Go, he whispered, before I change my mind. London was colder, and at the center of it all, Jackson ruled. Inside a massive conference hall, voices filled the air. Politicians, businessmen, media, all waiting. Then, the doors opened. Jackson walked in. Instant silence. His presence alone was enough. Mr. Jackson, someone greeted nervously. We're discussing the housing crisis. Cancel it. The room froze. Sir? I said cancel it, Jackson repeated coldly. We're not here to solve problems. He leaned back in his chair. We're here to control outcomes. A man hesitated. But the public. Jackson's gaze snapped toward him. The public, he said slowly, will believe whatever we tell them to believe. No one spoke. Jackson continued calmly. Push the development project forward. I want signatures by tomorrow. And if they refuse? Jackson smirked. They won't. And if they do? His voice dropped. Make them regret it. The room fell silent again. That night, Jackson entered his mansion. Dark, silent, cold. Where is he? A servant lowered his head. In the room, sir. Jackson walked upstairs slowly, each step echoing. He opened the door. Jackson stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Click. Locked. Inside, a fragile figure sat curled on the bed. Thin, pale, shaking slightly. Taehyung, please. His voice was barely a whisper. Footsteps. Slow, deliberate. Coming closer. Taehyung's breathing stopped. No, no, no. Taehyung immediately flinched, backing away. I didn't do anything wrong, I swear. You tried again. Taehyung froze. No. Jackson tilted his head. Liar. He walked closer, slowly, like a predator. Taehyung's body shook violently. I just wanted to. Jackson grabbed his chin harshly, forcing him to look up. You don't get to decide what to do. Tears filled Taehyung's eyes. Please. Jackson smiled faintly. A terrifying, empty smile. You belong to me. Taehyung whispered. I want to die. Jackson's grip tightened. You don't get that either. Jackson stepped back, fixing his sleeves. Try anything again. Taehyung's breath stopped, and you will regret it. His eyes widened in terror, because he knew exactly what that meant. Jackson opened the door, then paused. No one will find your body, and walked out. The door closed. Taehyung collapsed, shaking, crying silently. His gaze slowly shifted to the bedside drawer. Inside, hidden carefully, were pills. His hands trembled as he reached for them. Maybe this time the room was silent. Too silent. Taehyung lay on the floor, unconscious, pills scattered around him. Time passed. Minutes, maybe hours. Then the door burst open. Sir, a servant froze. Oh God. Moments later, Jackson stood there, looking down at Taehyung's motionless body. No panic, no shock, just irritation. Again? He sighed. Called the doctor. Within minutes, people rushed in. Taehyung was lifted, barely alive. Jackson watched, unbothered. Why do you keep doing this to him? Suga's voice came from behind. Jackson glanced at him, cold. Everything I do has a reason. Then he added quietly, he is mine. At the same time, Jungkook stepped out of the airport. Rain hit his face. Cold wind wrapped around him. He looked up at the unfamiliar city. London. A new beginning. A new life. He smiled slightly. I'll make this work. But across the city, in a dark mansion, a man who looked exactly like him was breaking someone piece by piece. Rain poured heavily. Lightning split the sky. Jackson's car sped through the empty road. Faster, he ordered. The driver hesitated. Sir, the road is slippery. I said faster. The car accelerated, tires screeching. Suddenly, a truck appeared. Too close. Too fast. Watch out. Crash. The impact was violent. Metal twisted. Glass shattered. The car flipped. Once. Twice. Then, explosion. Fire swallowed everything. Burning. Destroying. Erasing. People rushed toward the scene. Call emergency. Is anyone alive? But the fire was too strong. Too intense. Inside, nothing could survive. Hours later, Suga stood at the site, face pale, eyes unreadable. No body? A police officer shook his head. Nothing identifiable. Silence. Then Suga whispered, Jackson is dead. But far away, Jungkook looked at his reflection in a glass window. For a second, he frowned. Why do I feel like? He shook his head. Nothing, but something had already begun. A chain of events. A twisted fate. Rain hadn't stopped since morning. Jungkook stood outside the towering glass building, his reflection staring back at him, nervous, uncertain, hopeful. This is it. He took a deep breath and stepped inside. Everything felt expensive, cold, controlled, like one wrong move could shatter everything. Mr. Jeon Jungkook? Jungkook turned. A man stood a few feet away. Sharp gaze, Calm posture, dangerous silence. Yes, you're here for interview. Follow me. The walk to the office felt longer than it should have. Jungkook could feel it. Eyes on him. Whispers. Tension. Something was off. The office was silent. Too silent. Jungkook stepped inside slowly, clutching his file. Hello, sir. The man behind the desk didn't respond. He just stared. His eyes widened slightly. Not in confusion, but in shock. Jungkook shifted uncomfortably. Sir? Still no response. Then suddenly, the man stood up, chair scraping loudly against the floor. He walked toward Jungkook slowly, step by step, like he was seeing a ghost. Impossible, he whispered. Jungkook blinked. I'm here for the interview. Sir? Jungkook spoke carefully. Is something wrong? Yoongi stepped closer, slowly, too slowly. Say your name again. Jeon Jungkook. Silence. Yoongi's gaze darkened. No. Jungkook frowned. Sir, you're lying. I'm not. Yoongi stepped closer, too close, studying every detail of Jungkook's face. His jaw tightened. You look exactly like him. Jungkook's heart skipped. Like who? Yoongi didn't answer immediately. Instead, he walked back slowly, sat down, and finally spoke. Jackson. Jungkook swallowed. I don't know anyone by that name. Yoongi watched him carefully. Every blink, every breath. Then, interesting. Yoongi's hand trembled slightly as he reached for a file. He threw it on the table. Photos scattered. Jungkook looked down, and his heart stopped. That's him. No, not him. But exactly him. Same face, same features. Who is this? Jungkook whispered. Yoongi's voice came low, controlled. Jackson. The name felt heavy, dangerous. He was one of the most powerful men in London. A pause, and the most feared being. Jungkook swallowed. Was? Yoongi's eyes darkened. He died today in accident. Silence filled the room. Jungkook looked at the photos again. At the man who looked exactly like him, but whose eyes were empty, cold, cruel. Why do I look like him? Yoongi didn't answer immediately, because even he didn't know. Instead, something else appeared in his eyes. Opportunity. Yoongi slowly sat down, still staring, still calculating. Do you need this job? Jungkook blinked. Yes. How badly? A pause. Very badly. Yoongi leaned forward, voice lower now, more dangerous. What if I told you? You could earn more money than you've ever imagined? Jungkook frowned. Doing what? Yoongi slid the photos closer, his finger tapping on Jackson's face. By becoming him. Silence. Jungkook laughed nervously. That's not funny. I'm not joking. You want me to pretend to be a dead man? Yes. A politician? Yes. Jungkook stood up. This is insane. Yoongi didn't move, didn't react. I came here for a job, not some criminal plan. Yoongi finally spoke. Calm, cold, precise. This job will give you money. A lot of it. Jungkook froze slightly. Enough to change your life. Enough to secure your future. Enough to never worry again. The room felt smaller, heavier, harder to breathe. You don't understand, Jungkook said quietly. I'm not like him. Yoongi nodded slightly. I know. Then why me? Yoongi's answer came without hesitation. Because you're the only one who can replace him. A pause. No one will question his face. No one will doubt his presence. No one will dare to challenge him. Jungkook's chest tightened. And if I refuse? Yoongi's expression didn't change. You walk out. A pause. And lose this opportunity forever. Silence. Then, one final line. Or you stay and become one of the most powerful men in this country. Jungkook looked at his reflection in the glass, then at the photos, then at Yoongi. How much? Yoongi didn't smile, but his voice carried weight. More than you can imagine. Jungkook sat down slowly, heart racing, mind collapsing under the pressure. Jimin's voice echoed in his head. You want to fight the world. Is this it? He whispered to himself. Or am I about to lose myself? Yoongi stood up, extending his hand. Welcome to your new life. Jungkook stared at it. Then, slowly, he took it. And in that moment, Jeon Jungkook didn't just accept a job. He accepted a fate. Good choice. Jungkook didn't feel good. At all. What do I have to do? The man didn't hesitate. Everything. Jungkook looked up. Everything? You speak like him, walk like him, think like him. I'm not him. You will be. Jungkook nodded slowly. Okay. He took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. Teach me. Yoongi's eyes flickered slightly. Stand up. Jungkook did. Look at me. He did. No hesitation, no fear. Jackson never doubts. Jungkook swallowed, trying to hold his gaze steady. Again, this time, stronger, colder, better. Yoongi watched carefully. Good. He stepped closer. Now listen carefully. Jungkook's heart pounded. From this moment on. A pause. Then, you are no longer Jungkook. Silence. You are Jackson. Jungkook stood in front of the mirror, wearing a black suit, hair styled differently, expression unfamiliar. The door opened. Yoongi's voice came from behind. It's time. Jungkook didn't move. Time for what? Yoongi replied calmly. Your first appearance. Jungkook's heart dropped. Already? Yes. Where? A public meeting. Jungkook's breath hitched. What if they notice? They won't. And if I make a mistake? Yoongi's voice turned cold. You won't. Silence. Jungkook looked at his reflection one last time. Let's go. And with that, Jungkook walked out, not as himself, but as someone else. Jackson. The crowd was already angry, loud, restless, dangerous. Rain drizzled lightly, but no one moved. Because today, the Prime Minister was supposed to speak. Jungkook stood behind the stage, hands cold, heart pounding violently. I can't do this. Yoongi adjusted his tie calmly. You can. No, what if I mess up? You won't. Jungkook shook his head. They hate him. Yes. They see right through me. Yoongi stepped closer, lowering his voice. Then don't let them. Silence. Remember what I taught you, Yoongi continued. Cold voice, no hesitation, no empathy. Jungkook swallowed hard. No empathy. His name was announced. Or rather, Jackson's name, the Prime Minister. The crowd erupted, but not in cheers. Liar. You promised us a school. You only care about money. Go back. Jungkook froze. His legs felt heavy, like they didn't belong to him. Go, Yoongi whispered. and Jungkook stepped onto the stage, face of a monster. The moment they saw him, the shouting got louder, more aggressive, more painful. He's here. Look at him. Selfish man. You destroyed our homes. Jungkook's chest tightened. These weren't just angry people. These were broken people. Hurt people. Because of Jackson. Because of the face he was wearing. He stepped toward the microphone, hands slightly shaking. Say something, Yoongi whispered from behind. Jungkook opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Silence stretched. Awkward. Heavy. The crowd grew louder. Can't even speak? Useless. You don't care about us. Jungkook inhaled, then spoke. Enough. The single word cut through the noise. The crowd fell into uneasy silence. Jungkook's voice felt unfamiliar, controlled, sharp, just like he was taught. You speak as if you've been betrayed. Murmurs spread. A man shouted, because we were. Jungkook's jaw tightened. The crowd grew restless again. You promised us a school, a woman cried. And instead you build a BAR, another shouted. Jungkook's chest tightened. A school? He didn't know that. But something inside him reacted. You ignore us. You think we're nothing. You only care about money. Each word hit harder. Deeper. Jungkook clenched the mic slightly. A small boy stepped forward, holding his mother's hand. Sir, he said softly, his voice shaking, I just want to study. Jungkook's eyes locked onto the child. I want to become something. Something inside him cracked. He lowered the mic slowly. His expression changed. The cold mask faded. Yoongi's eyes widened slightly from the side. No, he whispered under his breath. But it was too late. Jungkook stepped forward. What do you really need? The crowd froze, confused. What? Someone asked. Jungkook spoke again. This time, not as Jackson, but as himself. Tell me, he said softly, what do you actually need? The silence deepened. People exchanged glances, unsure. Then, voices began to rise. We need a school. We need clean water. Our homes were destroyed. You took everything from us. Jungkook listened, and for the first time, he understood. Jackson wasn't just feared. He was hated. Jungkook took a deep breath. You're right. The crowd went silent again. Shock. Confusion. You were promised a school, and you deserved better. Yoongi stepped forward slightly, tension rising. Jungkook continued. I didn't listen before. A pause. But I'm listening now. The crowd held its breath. Jungkook's next words changed everything. The bar project. He paused. Yoongi's eyes locked onto him. But Jungkook didn't stop. Is cancelled. Gasps spread instantly. What? Did he just? Is this real? Jungkook's voice grew stronger. I will build the school. When? I will personally make sure of it, Jungkook said. Tears filled some eyes in the crowd. And I will make sure you are never ignored again. The crowd erupted in disbelief. Is he serious? He's changed. This can't be real. The moment Jungkook stepped off stage, Yoongi grabbed his arm. Hard. What was that? Jungkook looked at him, breathing heavily. The truth. You broke character. For a second, Jungkook thought he had ruined everything. But then, Yoongi let go. And something unexpected happened. He smiled, very slightly. Do you know how long I wanted to do that? Jungkook blinked. What? Yoongi looked toward the crowd. Jackson never listened, Yoongi said quietly. But maybe. He glanced at Jungkook. You can. Rain hadn't stopped since morning. The mansion, dark and silent. Jungkook stepped out slowly, staring at the towering gates. I have to live here. Yoongi adjusted his coat calmly. If you want to survive as Jackson, you don't have a choice. Jungkook swallowed. The gates opened automatically. Inside, everything was perfect. Too perfect. Yoongi turned to him. Listen carefully, Yoongi continued. You can't come and go freely anymore. A pause. You are Jackson now. Jungkook's chest tightened. From tonight, this is your home. Yoongi stepped closer. And never forget people are watching. Jungkook looked at him nervously. And you're leaving? Yes. Alone? Yoongi paused for a second. Then nodded. You'll be fine. Jungkook didn't feel fine. At all. What if I mess up? Yoongi looked at him seriously. Then don't. And just like that, he left. The door closed. Click. The mansion felt different now. Too quiet. Too empty. Jungkook stood in the middle of the living room. Where is everyone? No guards. No maids. Nothing. A chill ran down his spine. A faint sound echoed from the hallway. A soft, trembling noise. Jungkook froze. Someone's here. He followed the sound slowly, step by step. The door at the end of the hallway was slightly open. Inside, a figure sat on the floor, curled up, shaking. Hello? The figure froze. Slowly, very slowly, Taehyung looked up, and the moment he saw him, everything shattered. Fear flooded his eyes instantly. Pure, raw, terrifying. No, 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 no. He scrambled backward, hands shaking violently. Stay away from me. Jungkook froze. What? Don't come near me. Taehyung's voice broke into panic, tears already falling. I didn't do anything, I swear. I didn't do anything wrong. Jungkook blinked. Are you okay? Taehyung stepped back quickly. Don't come near me. Jungkook stopped immediately. I won't, just calm down. Please, Taehyung's voice broke. Just leave me alone. Jungkook's heart dropped. What? Taehyung's eyes filled with tears. Why do you keep doing this? Jungkook felt confused. What do you mean? Taehyung shook his head violently. Why do you hurt me? What did I do? The words hit hard. Jungkook's chest tightened painfully. I didn't hurt you. Jungkook stepped forward slightly. I'm serious. Stop. Taehyung flinched back instantly, terrified. Jungkook froze again, hands raised slightly. Okay, I won't come closer. Silence. Heavy. Painful. Jungkook softened his voice. You look weak. Taehyung didn't respond, just stared at him in fear. Have you eaten? No answer. Jungkook glanced around, then said gently, Wait here. Taehyung didn't trust him. That was clear. But he didn't move. Jungkook walked slowly to the kitchen, heart still racing. What happened to him? He opened the fridge, found something simple. Banana milk. He grabbed it and came back carefully, holding it out slightly. Here. Taehyung stared at it, suspicious. What is this? Banana milk. Silence. It might help you feel better. Taehyung's hands trembled. He didn't take it. Why are you doing this? Jungkook blinked. Because you need it. Taehyung's expression twisted, confusion mixing with fear. Stop pretending. Suddenly, Taehyung slapped the bottle out of Jungkook's hand. Crash. It hit the floor. Milk spilled everywhere. Jungkook flinched, surprised. I don't want it, Taehyung shouted, voice breaking. Just stop, please. Jungkook raised his hands again. Okay, it's okay. Taehyung's breathing became uneven, fast, shaky. I know what you're doing. Jungkook frowned. What? You act nice, then you hurt me again. The words felt like knives. Jungkook's chest tightened. I won't hurt you. You always do. I'm not. You are. Taehyung stepped back again, but he was too weak, too tired. Jungkook noticed immediately. Hey, careful. But before he could finish, Taehyung's vision blurred. His body swayed. I feel. And then he collapsed. Jungkook reacted instantly. Hey! He caught him before he hit the ground. Taehyung's body was light. Too light. Weak. Fragile. He is burning up. Jungkook's expression darkened. Jackson, what did you do to him? His grip tightened slightly, not in anger toward Taehyung, but toward Jackson. What did he go through? He placed Taehyung on the bed slowly, adjusting the blanket. His movements careful, gentle. You're safe, he whispered quietly. Jungkook sat beside the bed, watching him, thinking, he's terrified of Jackson. His jaw tightened. What kind of person was he? Jungkook looked at his own hands. The same face, the same identity, and now I'm living as him. Taehyung shifted slightly in his sleep, whispering weakly, Don't hurt me. Jungkook's heart clenched painfully. I don't know what he did to you. His voice softened. But I won't do the same. A silent promise. Jungkook stood up quickly, walking out of the room, closing the door gently behind him. He reached into the coat pocket, pulled out the phone, Jackson's phone. He dialed. The call connected. Yes? Yoongi's voice came calm as ever. Jungkook didn't waste time. Why didn't you tell me? A pause. About what? Jungkook's voice tightened. There's someone in this house. Jungkook's voice tightened. He's terrified of me. Yoongi didn't sound surprised. You met Taehyung. Jungkook froze. You knew. Not a question. A statement. Yes. Anger flickered in Jungkook's chest. Then why didn't you tell me? Silence filled the line for a moment. Then Yoongi spoke, because it wouldn't change anything. Jungkook's jaw tightened. Who is he? A pause. Then the answer came, quiet, heavy. He's Jackson's husband. Everything stopped. What? Jungkook's mind went blank. That's not possible. It is. No. Jungkook ran a hand through his hair, trying to process it. He's married? Yes. Silence. Long. Heavy. Jungkook looked at Taehyung again, lying there, weak, broken. That's his husband? His voice dropped. Then why is he scared like that? Silence. Then Yoongi answered. Because Jackson was a monster. Jungkook looked back toward the closed room. Taehyung's weak body flashed in his mind. His trembling hands, his broken voice. What did he do to him? Yoongi didn't answer directly. You saw it yourself. Jungkook's chest tightened painfully. Jungkook leaned against the wall, his mind spinning. How can someone do that? Silence. Then he asked, softly, how can he treat his own husband like that? Yoongi didn't respond immediately because there was no answer. Jungkook's voice cracked slightly. He looks at me like I'm going to kill him. A pause. Then Yoongi said, because to him you already did. The words sent a chill down Jungkook's spine. I'm not him. I know, but he doesn't. Silence. Jungkook closed his eyes briefly. What do I do now? Yoongi's answer came without hesitation. Nothing changes. Jungkook frowned. What? Continue acting. Jungkook pushed himself off the wall. Are you serious? Yes, that's his husband. And you're Jackson. I'm not. You are to everyone else. Jungkook's voice rose. He is terrified of me. And if you suddenly change, Yoongi interrupted, he'll be even more confused. Jungkook fell silent. That made sense. I can't treat him like that, Jungkook whispered. You don't have to, Yoongi said quietly. Jungkook looked up slightly. Then what? Just don't expose yourself. A pause. Be him in front of the world. Another pause. But behind closed doors. Jungkook's eyes slowly shifted toward Taehyung. Decide for yourself who you want to be. The call ended. Jungkook sat there for a moment, trying to understand. His husband. The words still felt unreal. He slowly stood up, walking back toward the room, stopping at the door. His hand hovered over the handle. He's scared of me. A pause. But I won't hurt him. He opened the door quietly. Taehyung lay there. Jungkook stepped inside slowly. I don't know what kind of person he was. His voice softened. But I'm not him. He sat beside the bed again, watching him carefully. I'll protect you. Taehyung stirred slightly, still unconscious. Jungkook adjusted the blanket gently. I don't know how to fix this. His voice softened. But I'll try. Days passed. Slowly, carefully. Jungkook learned everything. How to walk like Jackson. How to speak like him. How to sit. How to command a room. But he added something Jackson never had. Humanity. In meetings, he listened, actually listened. People noticed. At first, they were confused, then suspicious. But slowly, they began to trust. Sir, about the housing project. It will be revised, Jungkook said calmly. Revised? Yes. People come first. Silence filled the room. But no one argued. Because this Jackson was different. But no matter how busy he was, his thoughts returned to one person. Taehyung. Jungkook stood outside his room, hesitating. Will he panic again? Slowly, he opened the door. Taehyung was awake, sitting quietly, looking down. The moment he noticed Jungkook, his body tensed, fear still there. Jungkook stopped at the door, keeping distance. I brought food. His voice was soft. Taehyung didn't respond. Jungkook placed the tray on the table. You should eat. Silence. But this time, Taehyung didn't scream, didn't panic. He just watched, confused. Jungkook stepped back. I won't come closer. Taehyung's eyes flickered slightly. Why are you acting like this? Jungkook paused. Like what? Not like you. Silence. Jungkook didn't answer. car stopped in front of the mansion.
Jungkook became stronger, more confident, more controlled. People admired him, respected him, trusted him. The room was quiet. Soft light filtered through the curtains. Taehyung lay resting on the bed, his breathing calm now. Jungkook stood by the door, watching him. He looks peaceful like this. Jungkook stepped closer slowly, careful not to make noise. His gaze softened. Taehyung's face. Innocent, too innocent for the life he had lived. Jungkook's chest tightened. And I am lying to you. The truth weighed heavily on him. What will you do when you find out? His voice faded. That I am not him. Months pass. Time moved quietly. But everything changed. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. And slowly, fear turned into hesitation. Hesitation into curiosity. And curiosity into something softer. The way he cares. Jungkook never forced closeness, never raised his voice, never crossed the line Taeyong silently drew, but he was always there. Food placed gently beside him, medicine on time, windows opened for fresh air. You should eat. It's warm. You'll feel better. Small words, simple care, and somewhere between silence and small conversations, something changed. Taehyung started waiting for him. Jungkook noticed, but said nothing. He just came back earlier, stayed longer. They talked more, and that was the moment something deeper began. Not fear, not confusion, but something warm, something fragile, something dangerous. Late at night, Jungkook stood alone. Jimin, the name felt distant, faded, like a life that no longer belonged to him. I'm sorry. He closed his eyes. I don't even know who I am anymore. But when he opened them, Taehyung was there, and suddenly everything else didn't matter. That night, Jungkook stood in the garden, lights glowing softly around him, his heart racing. I can't keep lying forever. He looked at the ring in his hand. Simple, beautiful, but I can't lose him either. Taehyung's smile flashed in his mind. Jungkook closed his eyes. Even if this is wrong, a deep breath. I don't want to let him go. And with that, he made his choice. The garden was quiet, decorated softly with lights, flowers swaying gently in the night air. Taeyang stepped in slowly. You called me? Jungkook stood there, nervous, more nervous than any speech. Yeah. Taeyong looked around. What is this? Jungkook swallowed, his hands slightly shaking. I wanted to tell you something. Taeyong stepped closer. What is it? Silence. Then Jungkook spoke. You changed my life. Taehyung froze slightly. I didn't even know who I was until I met you. His voice softened. You made this place feel like a home. Taehyung's eyes filled slightly. Jungkook took a step closer. And I don't want to imagine my life without you. His hand slowly reached into his pocket, pulling out the ring. Taehyung's breath hitched. Tears filled Taehyung's eyes. You're really different. Jungkook smiled softly. Is that a yes? Taehyung nodded. Yes. Jungkook smiled. Relief, happiness, fear, all at once. He slipped the ring onto Taehyung's finger and stood up slowly. They looked at each other, closer than ever before. Later, they sat together, two glasses in hand, To new beginnings, Jungkook said quietly. Taehyung smiled. To us. They drank. The night softened. Barriers lowered. Taehyung leaned slightly closer. You don't scare me anymore. Jungkook's chest tightened. I never wanted to. Their hands met. Fingers intertwined. And slowly, they leaned closer. Foreheads touching. Eyes closing. In that moment, there were no lies. No past. No fear. Just them. And the fragile love they had built. The sunlight was soft. Jungkook sat at the edge of the bed, his hands trembling slightly, his mind restless. What did I do? Behind him, Taehyung slept peacefully, calm, unaware of the storm inside Jungkook. Jungkook ran a hand through his hair. He trusted me. His chest tightened painfully. And I. He couldn't finish the sentence. Guilt swallowed him whole. He stood up slowly, stepping away, afraid of himself, of what he might have done. Just then, a soft voice came from behind. Why do you look like that? Jungkook froze, slowly turning. Taehyung was awake, looking at him, confused, gentle. Did I hurt you? Jungkook asked immediately. Taehyung blinked. What? Jungkook's voice shook. Last night, I wasn't thinking clearly. I don't want you to feel like. Taehyung sat up slowly. Stop. Jungkook fell silent. Taehyung looked at him carefully. Do you think I don't know what I'm doing? Jungkook hesitated. I just don't want you to feel forced. I wasn't. Silence. Taehyung's voice softened. I wanted it too. Jungkook's breath caught. You did? Taehyung nodded slightly. Jungkook's eyes softened. Are you sure? Taehyung gave a small smile. I've never been more sure of anything. 1 week later, Taehyung stood in the bathroom, staring at the small test in his hands. His fingers trembled, his breath uneven. This can't be. But it was. The result was clear. Positive. Taehyung sat down slowly. A baby. Fear crept in first. What if he doesn't want this? His chest tightened. What if this changes everything? He closed his eyes briefly. Jungkook entered the room quietly. Tae? Taehyung looked up, nervous. Can we talk? Jungkook immediately noticed. What's wrong? Taehyung hesitated, then slowly held out the test. Jungkook looked at it, confused at first. Then it hit him. Wait. His eyes widened. Is this? Taehyung nodded slightly. I'm pregnant. Silence. Taehyung's heart started racing. Say something. Jungkook stepped closer, still processing. This is real? Taehyung nodded again. Yeah. Another pause. Then Jungkook smiled. Wide, bright, real. We're having a baby. Taehyung froze. You're happy? Jungkook let out a soft laugh. Happy, I. He stepped closer, taking his hands gently. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. Tears filled Taehyung's eyes. Relief, pure relief. I thought you'd be scared. I am, Jungkook admitted softly. But I'm also excited. He placed a gentle hand over Taehyung's. We'll figure it out. Taehyung smiled through tears. Together? Jungkook nodded. Always. The door slammed open. Hard. Unexpected. Jungkook turned sharply. Who? A familiar voice cut through the air. So this is where you've been. Jungkook froze. His heart stopped. Jimin. Jimin stood there, breathing heavily, eyes filled with anger. Pain. You disappeared. Silence. No calls, no messages, nothing. Jungkook couldn't speak. I waited. The words hit harder than anything. I trusted you. Taehyung looked between them, confused. Who is he? Jungkook's voice came out weak. He's. Before he could finish, another voice echoed. Cold, dangerous. Seems like I missed quite a lot. Everyone froze. Slowly, they turned, and there he was, standing at the door, alive, unharmed, eyes dark, smile cruel. Jackson. Taehyung's body trembled instantly. Fear returned, stronger than ever. No.
Jungkook stepped forward instinctively, standing in front of Taehyung. Stay back. Jackson smirked. Interesting. His gaze shifted between them. You replaced me quite well. Jungkook's fists clenched. His eyes landed on Taehyung. Cold. Missed me? Taehyung flinched back, shaking. Don't come near me. Jackson's smile widened. Still scared, Jungkook stepped forward again. Don't touch him. Jackson tilted his head. You think you can protect him? His voice dropped. He's mine. Jungkook's anger snapped. He's not yours. Silence. Jackson's eyes darkened. Taehyung's breathing became uneven. Stop. Jimin stepped forward. You're insane. Jackson glanced at him briefly. And you are irrelevant. Then, Yoongi entered behind him. Calm. Controlled. It's over, Jackson. Jackson smirked. You too? Yoongi's voice stayed steady. I waited a long time for this. Jackson moved first. Violent. Jungkook blocked him. Tae, go. Taehyung stumbled back, terrified. Jimin quickly moved Taehyung back. The fight turned chaotic. Punches, struggle, rage. Yoongi stepped aside, already calling the police. Sirens echoed faintly in the distance. Jackson noticed. You planned this. Yoongi didn't deny it. Yes. Jackson's smile faded. Police burst in. Weapons raised. Drop it. Jackson froze. Surrounded. Trapped. His eyes flickered between them. Then he laughed. This isn't over. But it was. He was taken away. Finally. Gone. And with him, the nightmare ended. Silence filled the room. After everything, Jungkook stood still, breathing heavily. Then, slowly, he turned to Taehyung. I need to tell you something. Taehyung looked at him, calm, not scared. I know, there's more, Yoongi said quietly from the side. Jungkook looked at him. What do you mean? Yoongi's gaze shifted toward Taehyung, then back. Jackson didn't just hurt him. Silence. Then, he killed the former Prime Minister. Jungkook froze. What? Taehyung's eyes lowered slowly, pain flickering through them. Yoongi continued. Taehyung's father. The words landed like a blow. Jungkook felt his chest tighten painfully. What? Taehyung's voice came out soft. Broken. He took everything from me. Silence filled the room. My father. A pause. My home. Another. My life. Jungkook's fists clenched. And then, Taehyung closed his eyes. He married me. It wasn't marriage, Taehyung whispered. It was a cage. Jungkook couldn't breathe. He forced me. Every night felt like I was disappearing. His voice shook. I tried to escape. I tried to end it. Jungkook's eyes filled with pain. But he never let me. Silence. I thought that was my life forever. Taehyung whispered. Until you came. Jungkook stepped closer. You saved me. Jungkook froze. You knew. Taehyung nodded. From the first day. Jungkook's heart stopped. How? Taehyung's eyes softened. A tear slipped down his cheek. Because you never felt like him. Tears slipped down Jungkook's face. Then why didn't you say anything? Taehyung smiled gently. Because I was scared. A small pause. Not of you. Another. But of losing you. Jungkook broke. Completely. Pulling him into a careful embrace. I'm sorry. Taehyung shook his head. Don't be. Outside. The world moved on. Jackson was gone. His crimes exposed. His power destroyed. And for the first time, Taehyung was free. Really free. Jungkook stood beside him. Across the room, Jimin stood quietly, watching. Yoongi beside him. Their hands brushed slightly. Neither pulled away. So, Yoongi smirked slightly. Stay. Jimin smiled. I was planning to. Jungkook noticed. A small smile forming. About time, he muttered. Jimin rolled his eyes slightly. Don't start. Jimin looked at him. Something soft in his eyes. You disappeared. Jungkook nodded. I know. I was angry. I know. A pause. Then Jimin sighed. But you look happy. Jungkook glanced at Taehyung. I am. Jimin smiled slightly. Then I'm okay. The hall was filled with light. Warm. Bright. Alive. Two couples stood side by side. Jungkook and Taehyung. Jimin and Yoongi. No fear. No secrets. Only love. Jungkook looked at Taehyung. They held hands. Ready? Taehyung smiled. Always. And this time, there were no lies. No fear. Just love.